What's up? This is Charlotte Sands.
Promise that you'll find me somewhere on the other side. We can keep on trying. Someday we might get it right.
Honestly, so I'm in a relationship right now. I started there. And it's a good relationship, which is shocking with my history. But I honestly was writing this song about being so happy and like loving somebody so much that you're already almost pre-grieving the thought of having to live without them ever. And which is so typical me. I think I always find a way to, like, anytime something is good or like a positive feeling, my brain is like, well, don't get too excited. There's always a negative on the other side. And I think a lot of people probably can relate to that, of always finding like the crisis in the calm and all of these, the negative things and the positive moments. And for me, this song was kind of that. It was the joy and privilege of getting to experience a relationship and a connection with somebody that feels so deep, but also the thought of ever having to experience like a life without them again. And I think that can be relate to friendships. And I thought about my sister while writing it, and just the thought of, like, if anything ever happened, just promise me that this isn't the last time that we will have each other, and that we'll always find a way to like search for each other again, and that there's like nothing that could ever keep us apart. And yeah, and that's kind of the emotion that I tried to relay throughout it. Genuinely, I get so stuck on, like, when I have an idea, a lot of my songs come from like a word that I find interesting, and I'll just write the word down in my notes, and then like months later when I'm trying to write something, or if I'm in a session, I'll go through and like I'll see all these random words, and it will spark some sort of creativity. And so a lot of the times it is just based off of a word that I find interesting, and then it's really hard for me to disconnect from that and try and make the title something else, because I've already been kind of committed to that one idea. And it's hard to stray from it on the back end. Even if I want it to look more interesting or be like a longer title, I feel like I wrote it about this one thing, and it has to stay true to like that idea in my mind. But yeah, with Afterlife, I feel like I also love songs that feel like they can be sad, but they can also be hopeful and happy. And I love riding that line of whoever is listening to this song, wherever they are in their experience of this feeling, and like in that moment, they can find a way to relate to it and have it be like really true to their own feelings in that moment. And if somebody is going through like a sad time and they're experiencing like sadder emotions, they can relate to it in that way if they need that. And then if somebody is feeling hopeful and in love and at the beginning of like a beautiful relationship, they can also connect to it and feel hopeful. So I like leaving songs a little bit in the middle ground of whatever the listener needs and whatever emotions like might be helpful for them. I think I always try to write from like the place that I'm at that day, just for it to feel the most authentic. But I think like there's definitely days, for example, like I think Hush and songs like that, when it's just going in with the intention of writing something, because I can also use it as an escape. Like I think writing songs sometimes just to be like, I need to feel good, or I want to like write something fun because we've been in this darker mindset and this darker vibe for a week. I think that's also really helpful, is to like use writing a song in the process of writing something as an escape kind of out of that hole of the more deep emotional experiences as well. So I think, but usually I try to write from the place that I am like currently in, and which is harder when I have a very, very happy, privileged life that I get to experience every day, and it is hard to sometimes be like living a life that I have curated to be really wonderful, and to wake up every day and be really excited and really grateful to get to live my life, and then go into the studio and people are like, so what dark traumas are we dealing with today, and what are we writing about? And obviously that's what people want a lot of the times, and so it's hard to access those feelings sometimes, and I feel like you really have to learn how to access like different stories and experiences and feelings, even when you're not, because I don't want to be sad forever, you know, I want to be able to write songs that connect with people in that way while still being able to have a really like wonderful and joyful life, you know?
We're about to do a sound check party for some fans, and they're gonna do a Q&A. We're gonna do Love You a Little. I feel like I just woke up. Let's see how it goes.
Since I started putting out music, I always wanted to do everything. And I grew up making I released an album when I was like 16 years old that was very like Regina Spektor, very like Imogen Heap, like very genre bending, and hope to God nobody finds this somewhere. But at the time, like I grew up on like very singer-songwriter, almost sometimes like country, folk, Americana music. And so I think I always knew that I wanted to find a way to just ride the line between all these different things. And I know that I'm gonna wanna change genres and experiment with different sounds throughout my career. And so I always try to be really intentional about not fully committing to like the box of one thing and one sound and being like, I'm just a rock artist and I just want to make rock music. And I really respect people who do that and can do that. But I just know myself, I just change so much, and I feel like I am constantly evolving, constantly listening to new music, and I think I'm constantly discovering new music from like even like years and years ago, and like re-loving new sounds and wanting to try different things. So I think for me, I just always want to give myself the freedom to change my mind and give myself the freedom to grow and evolve and create whatever feels inspiring to me, because I think as long as I'm doing that, then that's how I'm doing right by the audience and by the listeners, as long as I'm like being true to myself, and that is like the best thing I can do for everybody else. I'll have a lot of music that I'm trying to finish and figure out where it fits into my life and my career and the timeline and everything. So like I'm currently, there's a lot of things in the works that I'm very, very excited about, and a lot that's going to be happening. And I'm doing Warped Tour in October. This is October. I'm doing Warped Tour in November. I don't know where I am. And I'm really excited to do that again. And then hopefully going to be touring for the rest of my life, and until I come back here to see you, and then in between. But yeah, a lot of tours, a lot of shows, and trying to continuously make every show bigger and better than the last. I think that I do really well in a changing environment. I think I love the stimulation of like waking up and there's so many possibilities of like exploring a new city, meeting new people. I love change, as you might be able to tell. I use that word a million times, but also at the same time there's a structure to it, because every day you're doing the same exact schedule. You load in at the same time, you sound check at the same time, you have to get ready at the same time, and all of these things. So there is like a structure to it, but there's also a freedom of being able to kind of branch out and experience a completely different day, but with the same almost like roots. And I just love that feeling, and I love traveling. I love airplanes. Like, I don't know why. I love hotels. Like, I could live in a hotel, and I don't know why I am that way. And but like a day off, like a perfect day off to me is like a 5-hour flight. Like, I don't know why. And like people just like think that's so strange, but I just like, I really love it. And I also think for touring, being able to create this like ecosystem with a bunch of people where you all become a family and you all play different roles and you have to like learn how to live with other humans that like a lot of the times you're meeting for the first time. And I think there's something just really interesting about like everybody just trying to make like a dream happen together. And it's such like a simple idea of like everybody is just like a child with a dream trying to make it possible and trying to live out that dream every day. And I think it's just like a beautiful thing that we get to do. And I am just so lucky, and I wake up every day being like, this is the coolest life and this is the best experience. And I know what I did right to get here, but I'm like very grateful, and touring shows me that in person, in real time, every day, instead of it just being online interactions that feel it doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel like real people a lot of the times. But when you're playing a show, you're like, these are real bodies in a room. This is real energy. This is real love that we have for each other. And it's, and it's time and quality time spent together that's people chose to invest in each other. And that's such a wonderful thing. And yeah, it's beautiful to me. Hi, my name is Charlotte Sands, and you've just been buzzed.
Hi, I am so excited because we are giving away some very limited edition test pressings of my vinyl signed by me. Can We Start Over album. Did I say that? All you have to do is make sure you're following my Instagram, which is at Charlotte Sands, and I bet you are because I don't know how else you'd be seeing this video. Make sure you're moving on. Make sure you're following my HQ account, which is just Charlotte Sands HQ, and then tag a friend in the comments, and that's how you enter to win. And we'll reach out to you through DM if you do win it. I hope you do. I'm rooting for you. You deserve it. Okay, love you. Hope you get it. Thanks for being